To promote my new flower shop, I had one place print my business cards, another print my brochures, and a third, my signs. Now my roses aren't red, my violets aren't blue, my geraniums look dead, and I don't know what to do.
Staples can help your business stand out with signs, banners, and brochures that are a true reflection of your company. And now at Staples, spend $50 or more on print and marketing services and get $5 off your next in-store purchase.
Now my business is blossoming, and I'm spending less green.
Exclusions apply. In-store only. Ends 6/23/18.
Blog Talk Radio.
Hello, hello, hello. It's another glorious day, my tea-sippers, and you know what time it is. I hope you have all of your comfort together because it's time to dish the tea. And your dish darlings, with Big Meats.
Can't wait. Time to dish tea with Big Meats. Time to dish tea with Big Meats. Time to dish tea with Big Meats. Time to dish tea with Big Meats.
Darling.
Here's my hand. Don't take a look at it, for if you look at it, you may not see the kind of man you'd like a friend to be, who may live inside of me. What color is courage? What color loyalty? What color is true? What color is love? Here's my hand. Don't take a look at it, for if you look at it, you'll never know how many times I've had to fight with it, or wipe a tear with it. It doesn't show. What color is heartache? What color loneliness? What color is hate? What color is love? What color is love? What color is life? What is our destiny? What color holds? What will the future be? What color is love? When will you make a stop? Close your eyes and open up your heart. Here's my hand. Don't take a look at it, just put your hand in it. Together we can walk this land and show the whole wide world that we can live in harmony. What color is love? Just close your eyes and see. What color is love? Here's how it ought to be. The color of love is the color of you and me. You and me. What color is life? What is our destiny? What color holds? What will the future be? What color is love? When will you make a start? Close your eyes and open up your heart. Here's my hand. Don't take a look at it, just put your hand in it. Together we can walk this land and show the whole wide world we can live in harmony. What color is love? Just close your eyes and see. What color is love? Is how it ought to be. The color of love is the color of you and me. You and me. What color is love?
Double Exposure Media Relations is a full-service public relations, marketing, and artist development firm specializing in urban culture and lifestyle. Spearheaded by the Henry Hingers of hip-hop, Mr. Angelo Ellerby, Double Exposure serves to educate its clients about the dollars and cents of the music industry. For more information about Double Exposure Media Relations, call 201-224-6510. 201-224-6510. Double Exposure Media Relations. And hello. Out there in Blog Talk Radio land, here in the glorious United States of America and across the globe. I have to say hello to all of my friends over there in Germany and Italy and France and the Caribbean islands, and to all within the sound of my voice. My darlings, it is another glorious day, my tea sippers. And I hope you have all of your crumpets together because, darlings, it's time to dish tea, and you're dishing tea, darlings, with Big Meat. Hey, babies, what's going on? It's been a little minute since I've been before you with another commentary, but I wanted to come because we have a number of things that are in the news that absolutely it's become like it's so much to talk about. Where do I start? Okay, however, today's commentary is coming to you, brought to you by the letter B, honey, and C for the Black Church. I might throw in the P too, honey, for preachers, because I'm sure you guys are aware of all of the hoopla and carrying on and controversy that has been going on about the new reality show called The Preachers of Atlanta. Now, you know that's part of the franchise that involves the Preachers of L.A. and the Preachers of Detroit, okay? However, let me say this off the riff, because in my intro here that I have on the website, I say that, there's a lot of hoopla against the Preachers of Atlanta and all similar shows in that nature. Now, I would say this. It seems as though I have developed some kind of guilty pleasure for the Preachers of Atlanta, okay? And I started watching it on YouTube because I wanted to see exactly how they were going to illustrate their ministries and carrying on, okay? Now, I've only watched the first 3 episodes of it, and my conclusion about these types of shows are the same with a twist, okay? Now, even though I do believe that the Preachers of Atlanta is much better than I had anticipated it being, okay? Now, you guys know that we've had a lot of these different reality shows on the market, okay? The Preachers of L.A., the Preachers of Detroit, now the Preachers of Atlanta. We've had the Preachers' Wives of Atlanta, which was a farce and carrying on. We've had the Lifetime show called Preach, which was about 4 women preachers and carrying on, trying to find their proteges and things. There was another, I just found this one out today. It's been on. I've not seen it outside of on YouTube. Dancing Preachers. This is supposed to be some kind of show about the dance ministry and the praise dance ministry and carrying on. They call themselves, they're dancing, they're preachers of dance, and this is their ministry or whatever. I was like, really? Okay. We all know about the reality show competition, Sunday Best, okay? And, sweethearts, I have just come across, I did not know this. It is in development right now. It has not been picked up yet, but there's a new show in development called So You Think You Can Preach. And that, my darlings, honey, is coming out of Detroit, my hometown. Okay, the guy the preacher, the pastor who is over that, his name is Bishop something, over in Dearborn Heights somewhere. I'm going to get you all the information about that in a minute. I just lost it on my screen. But, yeah, he's in development on this So You Think You Can Preach, honey. And that's going to be another reality competition-style show. He's taking it off of So You Think You Can Dance. You see what I'm saying? Now, here's my thing, because there's a number of children, honey, who have gone on and They have made themselves known. There's a lot of controversy out there about these particular kinds of shows, okay? I'm going to call out Donnie McClurkin. And the reason why I'm calling him out is because he is already on a reality show. You know, he's one of the judges on Sunday Best. All right? Now, y'all know I have a thing with gospel competitions and those kinds of things, because one of the things that I do believe is that when it comes down to understanding who God is, that's a personal thing, that is an individual thing, and there is no competition in God, okay? And one of the things that tradition has taught us, now y'all know I'm no longer a traditional Christian. I consider myself to be a progressive believer. And so a lot of the things that I've been taught over my life, my attitude and my beliefs have changed, and they have progressed since the times of my earlier years. And one of the things that tradition has taught us was that singing and the church and the choir and all of that, well, the tradition had told us that when Satan was an angel, now I don't know how we know all this, okay. However, you teach that when Satan was an angel, he had the best voice of all the angels. He was the soloist and was over the choir and this, that, and the other, blah, 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 blah. But then when Satan fell from grace, that Satan likes to infiltrate the church. And one of the ways he does that is to come through the choir. So if this is what you teach as traditional doctrine, why would you sit down here and have gospel competitions where you are competing choirs one against another to say who is the best of and carrying on, when that has nothing to do with God? That competition only glorifies self. Okay? So in saying all that, the Reverend Pastor McClurkin has spoken very, 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 very staunch and carrying on about his adversity towards Preachers of Atlanta. He has a 26-minute long video up on YouTube that displays his disgust for it and shows like it. And in that, I'm paraphrasing, I'm not quoting, in that he says that, shows like this, it takes away from the integrity of God. It shows God in a false light, and that, these are false preachers and carrying on. And for some of the preachers who have made a bad decision to become a part of these particular kinds of shows, he feels as though, it was a bad decision and that they will soon get out of it. And I know he's talking about Dorinda Clark Cole, because she's one of the preachers of Detroit, one of the Grand Old Clark sisters and carrying on. And I just read that one of the preachers from L.A., the pretty one, Clarence, whatever his name is, I can't call his name, that right after the show had first aired, that he was having second thoughts about his decision on it. Okay. And I was like, okay, cutesy. But here's my thing, because he says that the show is not what, representing what they said the show was supposed to be. But thank you. I just had a tweet come in saying that the guy who was over the So You Think You Can Preach, his name was Bishop Cashma Bryant. Okay, thank you. But these children now, they have called these folks to be false prophets. They have called them to be disgusting. They have called them to be out of the light of God. I have read things that this is blasphemous and et cetera, et cetera. Now, I would say this, that I, too, am one who criticizes these kinds of shows and carrying on. And I criticize them for this reason. I'm probably going to say something that's going to upset you, but that's okay. I criticize these shows because where can you effectively have ministry when you got cameras in front of you? You understand what I'm saying? Okay, watching the Preachers of Atlanta, we heard about Leandria Johnson. Now, mind you, catch this now. Leandria Johnson is a Sunday Best winner.
Okay, now you see the correlation where I'm going here with Reverend McClurkin. And she's a pastor now. I have reservations on that, but okay, she said she was called. I'm not going to say it's not God, and hear me clearly. I'm not going to say what is and what is not God, because that would be very arrogant of me to sit down there and to try to point fingers and try to say I know all what is God. I will say that it's just certain things that just don't agree with my spirit. So that must not be my message, and it must not be for me to partake, okay? And that there is how I believe we all should look at life, because not everything is for everybody. And Leandria Johnson is a pastor here on the Preachers of Atlanta, and part of her ministry is she does a street ministry. She goes out to talk to the prostitutes and carrying on. She passes out condoms. She says she even gives out cigarettes and carrying on just to be with the people. And when she said that, the folks sat up there and got outrageous. I done heard folks sit up there talking about something, well, you know, that's nowhere near holy. You got to be holy and represent God in your best and this, that, and the other. And I come to tell you, honey, in times like this, when and y'all taught this in tradition now, you got to take the message to the people. And in order to get to the people, you got to meet the people on their level wherever they are. That's what the message is. And the Preachers of Atlanta is a very progressive ministry. All those preachers on there are preaching very differently. Their style is very, very different. It's very progressive. One of the children, he's a rapper, Canton something. He's a rapper. He has a whole complete hip-hop ministry. He does hip-hop, gospel, thug, gospel music and stuff. Now, you know, I'm not a hip-hop head or whatever, so that message don't reach me because all I hear is a beat, and all I see is y'all looking like everything else. But whatever, that's not for me to sit down and to go there. You know what I'm saying? These particular shows, I have a problem with shows like this because I wonder how you are effectively doing the work that you say is supposed to be done when a camera is in front of you. See, the thing is, you got to sit down there and get folks to sign release forms before you can air that kind of stuff. You see what I'm saying? And in order for you to air it, you got to make you air it so that you can get the ratings. So now this becomes entertainment. Is effective ministry. You see what I'm saying? It's not to say that this is not a platform that it cannot be used, but it got to be used wisely. Now I'm gonna tell you something. Back in the day, before televangelism became what it is known to be now, we had Reverend Ike, we had Biddy Hinn, we had all these other different preachers and stuff that was sitting up there, claiming that the Holy Spirit would come through and they wave their hands and make folks backflip and fall out and carrying on. All television. Did y'all remember the movie Leap of Faith with Steve Martin? Are you ready for a miracle? Y'all remember that movie? It was the same thing. Where how he sat up there was speaking in tongues and the Spirit was speaking to him and this, that, and the other, but he had a microphone in his ear, then it already went through the audience and stuff and got folks to talk about this, that, and so now all of a sudden the Spirit talking to him, he going to pray for these folks. Stunts and shows, children. Stunts and shows. And how does the ministry become effective when you got television cameras in front of you? Now, Reverend McClurkin says that these particular kind of shows do not put the preachers in proper light or whatever. Well, let me tell you something. I just put up on my Facebook page a couple of days ago, honey, that there is a set of ministers out of Florida, child, a husband and wife who have been sitting up here. They got a nonprofit organization, child, that they set up, and through the nonprofit organization, they was using it as a sex friend. Do you understand me? They sent there hoeing out the children that was a part of the damn organization, and you getting federal money for it. And you want to sit up here and say that these children are not showing pastors in the proper light. How not? How are they not when everything about this is all about the show and tell? When the Preachers of L.A. first came on, which is the first one of its installation, only thing we saw was how the pastors and carrying on are living. We saw all these big old houses. We saw all these big old cars and carrying on. I have yet to see folks get down and do a lot of the work. Oh, excuse me. Now, my mother told me she was watching this and that. She encouraged me to watch, and I didn't. You know, not in its entirety. I watched a couple of things. The Preachers of Detroit, because that's my hometown, I went and I watched a couple of episodes of that. But I'm going to tell you something. One of the things that was getting on my nerves, I got tired of seeing preachers argue. There should be no argument in the body of God. If you serve a big and powerful God that you say you cannot fathom or reason what God's reason is, there should be no argument. There should be no fighting. There should be no separations in all of this shit. But there is. Because why? It's for the ratings. It's for stunts and shows. And you can't give me effective ministry if you got a camera in everybody's damn face. And then you want to sit down here and tell me and preach from a pulpit that when you're supposed to do something, it's not supposed to be boasted on. You're not supposed to boast and brag about what you do in God's name or whatever. It's not supposed to be seen and shown unless it's in front of the church. And there was a whole big to-do in front of the church or whatever. But now you done took a platform and you done went into the masses, okay, with the television. Now I'm going to go here as well. One of the other things that folks don't like to do is that they forget that just because I have put the word pastor or the title pastor, bishop, cardinal, or whatever in front of my name, that does not mean that I am not human. And oftentimes, we forget that part because we have made deities out of these people, and we end up worshiping them and their title. Not so much of them as the person. We worship them as the title. Oh, pastor this, pastor. Every time you turn around, the pastor got to have an appreciation. The pastor's anniversary. The pastor this, the pastor that. Everybody trying to sit up there and kiss the pastor's ass or whatever. And nothing is getting done. And then you want to sit up there talking about something, how holy everything should be. You're also busy worried about the look of the church to where you don't know what the hell holiness is. Okay, you sit up there criticizing these folks for being hip-hop, for Leandria going down on the hostro, because, yeah, she sat up there, as she put on, when I first heard it, I thought the exact same thing. I said, she said she finna go on the show. She gonna dress like them and go down there and talk to them. But her reason was, well, if I go down there in a suit or a dress or whatever, they're not gonna hear me. If I go down there looking like them or whatever, I will have a better chance at them understanding me. Oh, excuse me. So I'm like, okay. But I thought immediately, I thought mini skirt, hooker shoes or whatever. Long flowing hair, titties out, I thought the worst. What she had on was not nothing that I have not seen at the mall, on the bus or whatever. She had on some tight jeans, everybody wearing these damn 7-inch pumps or whatever, but they wasn't so high or whatever. She had a nice little blouse on, It wasn't so low cut, but it was a cute little blouse. She had a little wig on. It wasn't the long flowing locks. She had a cute little page boy style little cut on or whatever. As she went out passing out condoms, as she went to go, she had cigarettes for those who needed a cigarette or whatever. And for those of you who don't understand that, doing HIV work, we got criticized for passing out needles and stuff, doing the needle exchange program, because we were told that that's encouraging them to do drugs. No, sweetie, it's not encouraging them to do drugs. It's just that if they have an addiction, and we're trying to prevent the spread of HIV and AIDS and unwanted pregnancies and carrying on with condom distribution, honey, you have to give them clean materials so that it will reduce what we're trying to do until they get clean. This is a process. This is a process. Now, y'all know for all my smokers out there, you know what I'm talking about. You know what it is to sit down there and have a nicotine fin and everything about you says, I need a cigarette to calm down. You know what that is. So for somebody to sit down there and tell you, oh, I can't give you a cigarette because that's encouraging you, the damage is already done. I'm not God. Now, that's my personal choice if I choose to give you one. I don't smoke. I'm not going to go buy no damn cigarette to support your damn habit. I'm not going to do that. But at the same time, I'm not going to sit down there and watch you suffer because you suffer. And there's a big difference. And y'all know what I'm talking about when you see it. You know what that difference is. Okay? When folks sitting up there, I've done this with alcoholics because and my mother would tell you this because he was such a sweet man, but he was just an alcoholic. Okay? And he was shaking so bad, he was hurting, he was in pain. And all he needed was just a swig so that he could knock that pain up out of him. And I went in the store because it was hurting me to see him hurting so bad. I just got him a half a pint of Parmesan, and I just gave it to him. I didn't make no big fuss about it. I gave it to him because he was hurting. Okay? Now, to sit down there and sit up there and judge me or whatever and say, I was wrong because I'm encouraging alcoholism, whatever, honey, the damage is already done. He's an alcoholic. Right now, he don't know no better until he get there. You know what I'm saying? Now, let me go here. Because for all of you who want to sit down there and do this, that, and that, what would Jesus do? Honey, if I remember correctly, the way y'all sit up there and teach this Bible, honey, when Jesus was at the party and they ran out of wine, he didn't cuss them folks out or didn't sit down there and tell them, y'all don't need to be drinking no more, whatever. Oh, it's done. Let's go home. What did he do? He told them children to go get some more, go get the skins. They brought the skins with the new water, and Jesus turned the water to wine, and what happened? The party kept going. You see what I'm saying? So don't you dare sit up here and get holier than thou and want to sit down and try to tell me or try to tell the folk that the church ought to look like this and ought to be holy when you don't even recognize what holy is because it's a whole act. That whole holier than thou is a damn act because you want to sit down there and put yourself up higher than everybody else and think you are superhuman because you have accepted God and Christ into your life and that you live a holy life. The biggest lie that you sit up there and tell everybody is that, I don't sin no more because I'm covered in the blood of Jesus. That's the biggest lie that come out your motherfucking mouth. Because every day, and then you want to sit down there and tell everybody that they sin daily. We sin and carry on, but then because you a pastor or a deacon or got a title, that you don't sin no more because you covered in the blood. That is a lie. And you're seeing every day. You want to sit down there and point fingers at me and get on Leandria because she's passing out condoms and cigarettes or whatever. And yet we got unwed pregnancy stuff there in the church every day. The church don't want to talk about that all the time. You want to sit there and say, well, the Bible says that you're supposed to save yourself. Yes, it does. But who is saving themselves these days? Everybody's sitting up there going through, and the very few, God bless and keep them, that they were able to sit up there and say, I've held myself for marriage. But for the most part, honey, these kids are sitting down here doing what they're going to do. You can't deny that this girl is pregnant and she's walking up in here at 15, 16 years old in the church. And now you're going to say, she shouldn't have. You should have been passing out condoms or at least telling them what not to do outside of saying don't do it. You see what I'm saying? That there is a whole big thing with all these church shows or whatever. Y'all coming at it the wrong way. Progressive church is just that. It is progressive. We got to come out of trying to sit down there and put God in all this beautiful light. And yes, God is all of those things, but God is everything. So just as God is in this beautiful light, you don't like sitting down there dealing with funky old homeless folks because they smell like piss. But you got to. Why? Because that's what they are. If you got to sit down there and wash the life out their damn head, you got to do that. Why? Because it's nasty and it's dirty, and you got to get into the trenches in order to get the work done. How dare you? And I'm going to call myself out on that because have I not seen this particular show, more so this one than all the other ones, because I am one who believes in progressive ministry because it is not what it all looks like. Everybody trying to look the same, and yet you argue about what God is and cannot be. You sit down there and say, we can't fathom who God is, and yet at the same time you want to be arrogant and say what is and what is not God. That is very, very hypocritical of you and us as people of faith. That is very hypocritical. That may not be your call. That may not be your work that you have to do. But don't you dare sit up there and say what is and what is not God because it don't look like the God that you know. How dare you? Now, again, I am not a fan of these particular shows because they put the wrong message out there. You sit down there and you get the ugliness being showed. And that there is where this whole thing is. If we want to do better, come out of being holier than thou and thinking everything is all chandeliers and crystals, but at the same time, don't go so real to where you done got ghetto and wretched and you looking like everything else. We got to find a happy medium in that. So that's my take on it. If you agree with me, honey, follow me on Facebook and Twitter and all of that, or email me at bigmeech@disht.com. Until then, honey, that's my commentary today. And I think I'll be back with y'all tomorrow, honey. I got a couple of things I got to say because y'all know Miss Patty and Aretha, honey, is about to wear me out. Okay? Y'all know Aretha coming out with her own food line now. Yeah, that's just a preamble of what's coming next. I'll talk with y'all in a minute. Ciao.
Health is like your playlist. You never know what's coming next, whether you need a checkup, flu medicine, or something more urgent. You need to know where to go. Enter Emory, with access to over 120 primary care locations and nearly 60-minute clinics and urgent care centers across the region, where you're in the hands of specially trained doctors and nurses, so you're covered no matter what. Click on this banner to find a location near you